Hey, what's up guys, OSJ here, and I'm continuing with the best arcade ports ever series, and this time we will be looking at the Sega Master System arcade ports. This system really has a special place in my heart. It was the first console I ever owned, and it was the original Master System 1. I swapped it for a BMX from one of my friends, and I only had one game, Ninja, and a credit card game, Hang On, which incidentally is in this video. Anyway, I quickly got some more games, and it became one of my favourite systems ever. So here are what I would consider the best arcade ports ever on the Master System. First up is Afterburner. Now I'm sure everyone watching has either played or heard of this game in the arcade. It's one of the most iconic Sega games ever made, with maybe the best hydraulic arcade cabinet ever. I was actually fortunate to play this cabinet a year back at a gaming convention, and it's still a brilliant experience even today. The Master System version is brilliant for an 8-bit and is a truly great port. Obviously it's never going to be arcade quality, but the gameplay is spot on and the music is too. Bobble is another arcade classic that will be a fond memory in many retro gamers' hearts, including my own. This game has one of the most well-known tunes ever and was always a welcome sound to my ears in my local arcade. The Master System version is an absolute class port. It blows all the other 8-bits out of the water for looks and gameplay. I owned and played this one quite a lot back in the day. Enduro Racer in the arcade was best played on the full-size bike cabinet. Even so, it was never one of my favourites, maybe down to the fact that I was only 7 stone wet through and I couldn't pull the bike up properly, resulting in me getting nowhere on this game. The Master System version, while not staying true to the original, is actually one of my favourite Master System games ever. I spent so much time on this as a kid, and for me, it's even better in the arcade. As I said in my Mega Drive video, Ghouls N Ghosts was massive back in the day, and it spawned ports on just about every system. It's a great game that is tough as hell, but will never grow old. The Master System version is pretty damn good for an 8-bit. At the time I had this was the best home version I had played, as it was before I had the Mega Drive or Amiga. The gameplay is very close to the arcade, but a bit slower, and the music and graphics are very nice too. Hang On is one of my most memorable games of all time. The full-size superbike always used to lure me in. Again though, as with Enduro Racer, weight or a lack of it was always an issue for me with this game, but this one I just didn't care. I just loved it so much. The Master System version is maybe the best port on this list. As I said at the beginning, I had this on credit card format, and as I only had Ninja, which let's face it is pants, this game got played all the time. It's a true Master System classic. I don't think I have to tell you again about how much I love Outrun on the arcade. It's one of those games that instantly transports me back to the 80s when times were easier and all I had to worry about was where was I going to get more money to put in the arcades. The Master System version, while not being as good as the arcade, is still a solid 8-bit port, and one I know that a lot of people loved. It's a great racing game for the system, that for me is only let down by its sound effects. Quartet was one of the first 4-player arcade games I ever played on. This was a firm favourite for me and my mates, as it meant you weren't hanging around out the back of somebody watching. It's a platform stroke shoot 'em up that is a lot of fun in multiplayer. The Master System version is really close to the arcade in every way apart from only being 2-player. This was one that my mate had and he would regularly bring it round and we would play for hours. Rastan in the arcade was always a crowd puller. The graphics were beautiful and the music is class. The game was pretty good too, although very hard, but it didn't stop the queues forming for a go on it. Rastan on the Master System didn't let us home system users down. It's every bit as entertaining as the arcade. I love the music and the graphics are pretty special too for an 8-bit. All in all, it's an exceptionally good port of a great game. Renegade on arcade is a scrolling beat 'em up that brought us moves that we had never seen before in any fighting games. It's a Technos game and was developed a year before Double Dragon, so we probably owe this game for a lot of aspects that are used in Double Dragon. While it's never been one of my favourites, it's still a good game to play from time to time. The Master System version is one I did play, and I think this was mostly down to the fact that this is miles better than the god-awful Double Dragon ports that we got on home systems. For the Master System though, it's a nice little beat 'em up. Cue the part where I say I'm a massive shoot 'em up fan, because here it is, R-Type. Now I'm sure that I have said before that R-Type is a great shooter and it's maybe one of the most iconic shoot 'em ups of all time. I play this game still today if I see it anywhere, even though I've completed it multiple times. The Master System version is a masterclass in how to port a side-scrolling shoot 'em up to the 8-bit platform. It's just perfect in every way considering the hardware restraints that they had to deal with. It's a great game that I still own for this system now. This video is absolutely packed full of classics and it doesn't get much bigger than Shinobi. Shinobi was released at the height of the martial arts craze back in the 80s, so you can imagine how much attention this game got. It's a retro classic that is still a joy to play even today. The Master System version is a very good part of the arcade classic. The gameplay is identical. In fact, I prefer the gameplay on the Master System as it's a bit easier and more forgiving than the arcade. I absolutely hammered this game on my Master System back in the day. Space Harrier is another arcade heavyweight that was awesome back in the day. It was a brand new type of game that we hadn't seen the likes of before. I've never seen the full size cabinet, but I've heard it's great. Maybe someday I'll be lucky enough to have a go on it. The Master System version, apart from the obvious slowdown in the gameplay, is a great port, and I'm sure that a lot of people watching will have had this on their system back in the day. For me, this is a game that I no longer like as much as I did though. Strider was in my Mega Drive video too, and as I said in that video, this is one for me has lost its appeal. That doesn't take away how big it was back in the day, and the music is still great. It's weird to have this on the list compared to the Mega Drive as it's nowhere near as good, but we have to judge this considering the hardware restraints, and for an 8-bit this is a really good port. It's slow but looks and sounds the way it should. Last on the list is Wonderboy In Monsterland. Now I was never really into Wonderboy games, I always found them hard and ultimately frustrating, so kept well away. I know though that they were loved by many, and I now can play them without losing my rag. The Master System version is a force to triumph as it's even better than the arcade, and that is a true feat for an 8-bit system to beat the mighty arcade. It looks, plays and sounds better, so it's not even close if you ask me. Okay, That's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if there are any games that you think should have been on this list, and remember to like and subscribe if you like my stuff. Till next time, this is OSG signing out.